Well, hello, everybody. Happy Thursday to you. Dr. D, good morning. Didn't know this was going to come up today because the way I was feeling yesterday, I thought this game was definitely in jeopardy. Uh, was in real bad shape yesterday as far I had this, I don't know, I just had no energy. I couldn't get out of bed. And I went to bed about 9 o'clock last night and woke up about 7:30 this morning. Feeling a little bit better, but boy, yesterday I just couldn't eat anything, couldn't do anything yesterday. But feeling a little bit better today, so I figured it's safe to venture out. But as you can see, I'm kind of out of my element here because I don't have everything set up um, like I normally would have on a regular game when I'm at my normal. So give me a second while I fill in some of these other details, and then we'll get going. Try not to cough in anybody's ear if I can help it. Try to keep the mute button handy. I'll probably spend some time in bed today too, just to keep resting. I think that's all I can do. I try to minimize the talking too because that doesn't really help the throat either. But after this game, I won't be doing a lot of talking to anybody, so that'll give me a chance to rest. And of course, what I do on this, good morning, Philip. The way I do these games is normally, what I should say, normally what I do is I have all the stuff pre-written out. I set it up, and I set it up on YouTube to where it's gone live, and all I have to do is click the live button when I'm ready to go. So normally what I do is I set all this stuff up, set it on the YouTube where it's just about ready to go. It's one click away from going live, and then in that interim, what I do is I go down and refill, freshen up, I get a fresh cup of coffee, and if I need to use the restroom, I use that, and then I come up here and ready to go. Well, I did the same thing here today. I did the same thing here today. Set it up, went downstairs, used the restroom, got my coffee, but I put my coffee cup. I left my coffee cup downstairs instead of bringing it up when I came upstairs. So I'm going to step away for about 30 seconds to get my coffee cup because there's no way in the world I can do this game without coffee. So in about a 30-second break, I'll trot down the stairs and plop back up. Okay, got my tools of the trade now. So because a game just isn't a game without the coffee cup. So. But hopefully my mind is not so whatever the word is for it foggy that I'd make bad decisions on the managing. But we'll find out. I did notice something here though. Toronto is using a couple backups for their roster in today's game. Tony Fernandez, I think he'd played every game at short, led off, but he's off today. He's on the roster, but he's off today. So Willie F. Shaw gets the leadoff spot. Also, no Jesse Barfield in right field. He got Rick Leach in right field. So Manny Lee is at short. Leach is in right. Those are the changes there. Milwaukee, pretty standard, I would say. So we get pretty good pitching matchup. Jimmy Key and Bill Wegman. Bill Wegman is 8-1 on the replay. Let's get his numbers on the show you his numbers on the real season for Bill Wegman. 12 and 11, 4.24 ERA is Mr. Wegman in the real season. Much better on the replays, 8 and 1 with a 3.16 ERA. Another reason why Milwaukee is at the top of the standings. 105 innings, 96 hits, 29 walks, 41 strikeouts. He has a 0 wild pitch and a 4 balk, and he's got a -1 hold. He is a -1, and Surhoff's a 0, so it's a -1 hold aggregate. Toronto comes to the game 45 and 25, Milwaukee 46 and 22. Top two teams in the American League East. Leading off will be Willie Upshaw, is hitting .213, 3 homers, 22 runs driven in, hit .244 real world. But before we have the first pitch of the game, of course, have the ceremonial first sip. I'll tell you what is so bad yesterday. When I finished the game yesterday, I still had about a half a pot of coffee left, and I did not drink it. I just couldn't drink it. My stomach was so out of whack. I'll tell you exactly what I ate yesterday. I ate 2 pieces of dry toast and a banana. That was my whole food intake yesterday. Just couldn't eat anything. Now this morning with my coffee, I did have some toast with some jelly on it, and that's all I've had so far. And so far my stomach feels okay, so I feel like I'm able to start eating something again. So perhaps resting and getting some food will build my energy back up. I was just so blah yesterday. I got into bed and was like, took everything in the world to get myself out of bed. Just everything was just no energy whatsoever. All right, here is Willie Upshaw. Runned away from Milwaukee, 4-7. Ground ball shortstop X. Now, this is where they kind of missed Fernandez because he was almost automatic with a 1E17, but this is a 3E10. But a 20 gets by with it, so 3 and a 20 shouldn't be a problem. And that's a 9, and he is an E10 at short. There is no 9 there, so it's good play for Manny Lee. I'm sorry, no, I'm already off. I should be checking Swain because Toronto's batting. My bad. 20. Well, 20 is going to get to it, but the 25, E25 and a 9 for Swain. There's still no 9 there, so yeah. See, it's going to take me a little bit to get back in the swing of things. Still kind of out of sorts. I am out of sorts. It's not kind of out of sorts. I am out of sorts. So if you're watching this for the first time, this is not my normal setup and normal game flow. This is a little bit out of whack. So here's Lloyd Mosby, center fielder. He's hitting .333, 18 homers, 62 driven in. He had .282 real world. 111, and that is a ballpark single check, which is a 1-12 at County Stadium, and that's a 6, so base hit. Base hit for Lloyd Mosby. County Stadium is symmetrical, 12s for lefties and righties for singles, and 7 lefties, righties for home runs. Mosby, now Wegman is a -1 hold. Let's see if Mosby wants to try for the lead. I think he will. Needs a 2, 3, 4, or 5. Doesn't get it, he'll hold. And here comes third baseman Rance Mulliniks. Mulliniks sitting .365 on the replay. 8 homers, 26 driven in. He had .310 real world. 1-7, and he struck him out. First strikeout for Wegman. 2 away for George Bell. Bell on the replay is hitting an even .300. 24 home runs, 66 runs batted in. He hit .308 real world. He's approaching 300 at-bats. He's had 293 at-bats so far. So he's getting, some of the guys that play every day, we're getting close to those 300 at-bat marks. First the Havoc. Happening. 6-11, and that's a ballpark blast off of Wegman. It's a 1-7, but that's a 15, so just a deep fly to left, hauled in out there by Felder, and that will do it. Wegman gets through the first unscathed. We go to the bottom of the first. Toronto nothing. Milwaukee coming to bat. And the best pitcher in the first half of the season, Jimmy Key, is on the mound. Look at Jimmy Key's. Good morning, Dan. Look at Jimmy Key for the 87 season for real, 17-8, 276 ERA. However, on the replay, he is 14-1 with a 166 ERA, 130 innings pitched, 91 hits, 28 walks, 92 strikeouts. So he is the clubhouse leader so far, to use a golf analogy, as far as winning the Cy Young. All right, here is Mike Felder, left fielder. He's hitting .319, no homers, 4 driven in. He hit 266 real world, I think it was. No, yeah, 266. Switch hitter, batting right-handed, and he can run very well. 4-7, and that's going to be a ground ball shortstop X. And this is where they missed Tony Fernandez, because that would be a 1 right there, but it's a 3 for Manny Lee. See if he can get to it. And he 3-10. I think he should be okay on this. Oh, no, now I got circles in the sand. Just what I needed was circles in the sand. Are you guys getting circles in the... No, okay, it looks like it's come back. I had, for a split second, I had the circles in the sand going. I was kind of concerned about that. Let's see, 3-10. 3-10 is a G2, and that is a 16, and he is an E10 for a shortstop. But there's a 16 right there. On the E10, there's a 16, so it's a one-base error. One-base error on Manny Lee. And Jimmy Key is already upset that Jimmy Williams has put in the backups in some of his key positions. And he's saying that should have been made. So Jimmy Key, though, is a -5 on his hold. He's a -6, and width's a 0, so -5 is the best you can have. So if Felder wants to go, and he's going to go, he's an asterisk. He's not going to have him get a good lead or try for one. He gets the 6, he gets the good lead. He's a 19, being held to 17, down to a 12. 1-12, he's in there. And he's got caught stealing. Ernie Witt throws him out. Ernie Witt threw out Felder. So Felder reached on the error, but the error was erased by caught stealing. Felder, let's check his stolen bases for the real world and for the replay. Coming into this, Felder had stolen 34 bases real world, only been caught 8 times. In the replay, he'd stole 5 bases, only been caught once. Now he's stolen 5 bases, been caught twice. But he's way behind on his stolen base. Of course, he just recently started playing, so he's got to get, more playing time. But he's caught stealing. That brings up Robin Yount. Yount hitting .312 on the replay, 15 homers, 59 driven in, and he hit .312 real world. 112 against the left-hander Key is a foul out to Ernie Witt. 2 away. And that sends us to Paul Molitor, third baseman. Molitor hitting .371 on the replay, 8 homers, 43 driven in. He hit .363 real world. 1-3, and he grounds at the third, plus an injury chance. So there's a chance that Molitor will have to leave the game. Well, 1-6, he can stay in. 7, he's got to leave. He's got to go. So Paul Molitor pulls something or feels something pull when he runs to first base. So actually with Key in there, they're going to use Paciorek, a right-handed hitter. So Jim Paciorek will come in and play third base in place of Yount. He is a 4.37. So this is now Paciorek at third base. So Paciorek coming to play third base in the second inning. So tough blow there for the Brewers. They will be without Molitor the rest of the game. And we go to the top of the second, no score. Now on the computer, I need to bring in Paciorek. Brewers only carrying a 4-man bench, so with using Paciorek now for Molitor, they have Castillo, Manning, and Robideau on the bench. The backup catcher, Schroeder, is at first base, so if they need a backup catcher, they just move Schroeder from first to catching, and they can bring in Robideau to play first. So now we head to the top of the second. And Ernie Witt is your batter. Ernie Witt. Witt on the replay hitting 274, 7 homers, 26 driven in. He hit 269 real world. 1-5 for Witt. That's a 1-13 single, but a 17 says he lines it right to Jimmy Gantner for out number 1. Tomorrow's game, assuming I'm feeling okay, which I hope so, will be Minnesota and Texas. From Texas, Frank Viola against Bobby Witt. Then Kansas City, Seattle, and Baltimore, Detroit would be played offline. All right, here's Fred McGriff. McGriff hitting 254 on the replay, 12 homers, 21 driven in, at 247 real world. Crime Dog, 5-5, fly ball to left. Felder runs it down, 2 away. I'm expecting a low-scoring game. Here's Rick Leach, right fielder, filling in for Barfield today. He's hitting 295, 2 homers, 8 driven in. He hit 282 real world. 3-7, and he's going to fly it to center. Yount is there, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Bill Wegman. Look at the bottom of the second. Due up for the Brew Crew, it'll be Cooper, Deere, and Surhoff. Cecil Cooper hitting 215 on the replay, 8 homers, 27 driven in. He hit 248 real world. 3-6 is a base on balls. First walk issued by Key. Cooper, no threat to run, will not be held. Here's Rob Deere. Deere hitting 250 on the replay, 9 homers, 35 driven in. He hit 238 real world. That's a 2-4, and that's a single 1-2, but that's a 13, so he lines it to Manny Lee at short. 1 away. 1 down for B.J. Surhoff, the catcher. He's hitting 325 on the replay, 6 homers, 25 driven in. He hit 289 in the real season. Lefty. 4-5, and that's a fly ball to left. George Bell runs it down, 2 down. And here comes Bill Schroeder, normally the backup catcher, but playing first base today. He's hitting 286 on the replay, 4 homers, 21 driven in. He hit 332 real world. 112, and that's a ballpark single check, which is a 1-12, so that's a base hit. 1 base advancement on the ballpark singles. So runners at first and second now with 2 outs, and we'll have our first clutch at bat of the game belonging to Jim Gantner. Gantner in the clutch will lose a hit on 110, and that appears to be it. Gantner on the replay hitting 290, 3 homers, 22 driven in. He at 272 real world. 6-6, and that's going to be a base hit. Run's going to score. That's a double on a 1-10. That's a 5. It's a double 2 stars. So the Brew Crew jump on Key for the first run of the game. Take a 1-0 lead. Still not done yet. 2 outs. Dale Swain, clutch situation with runners at second and third. In the clutch against the lefties, Swain will gain 3 hits in column 2. His column 2 all of a sudden turns very good. 2-8, 2-11, 2-12 all turn to hits. Swain hitting 333 on the replay, 16 homers, 48 driven in. He only hit 252 world, so he's been definitely an overperformer. 4-3 is a fly ball left field X. George Bell is a 2E12, or 2E13 rather. 2 and a 6, I think he'll get to that. Should get to that. 2 and an E and a 6 is an F2. That's at 12, and he's an E13. But that's a 12 right there. It's a 2-base error two-base error on George Bell. There's an E13 in left field, and the 12 is a two-base error. So 2 unearned runs are going to come in to score on the two-base error by George Bell. And it's 3-0 Brewers, and Jimmy Key is not happy. That's 2 errors by the Blue Jays in 2 innings. First error didn't cost them any runs. This one cost them 2. Fortunately, I was able to hit the mute button before I sneezed, so that helped. All right, Mike Felder. Clutch situation for Felder. He gains a hit on 3-10. 3-0 Brewers. 1-8, and that's a single, so it's another earner. What's a single on only a 1 star, though. So it's only going to get him to third base. It's a 1-star single. That'll pass it along to Robin Yount. They're not going to try to steal with Felder. He's already been caught once, so they want Yount to have a swing at it. Clutch situation for Yount. And in the clutch, he is completely neutral. 5-5, and that's a ground ball to second to end the inning. So 3 runs come in. Only 1 of them are earned. But they count all the same. It's 3-0 Brew Crew at the end of 2. Coming up for the Blue Jays, bottom of the order, Garth Orge, followed by Manny Lee and Willie Upshaw. Wegman, 111, and that's a ballpark single check. 1-12, and that's a base hit for Garth Orge. Single for Orge. He's not going anywhere. Here's Manny Lee. Lee hitting 255 on the replay. No homers, 4 driven in. He hit 256 real world. 1 chance of a wild pitch. Well, it is a wild pitch chance, but Wegman has a 0 wild pitch, so that kills that. Got a 4 balk and a 0 wild pitch. 6-5 switch hitter, batting left, the pop up to first. Schroeder's got it, 1 away. And back to the top of the order for Willie Upshaw. 3-4 for Upshaw, and that's a 1 for a triple. Anything else will be a single, 2 stars. Orge will move to third. Runners on the corners with only 1 out for Lloyd Mosby. Mosby singled his first time up. Infield playing for the double play. 2-6, and it's a strikeout. Not as good as the double play, but almost as good as he strikes out Mosby. Now we got a clutch at bat for Rance Mullenix. Mullenix in the clutch will lose a hit on 111. Also loses hits on 2-7 and 2-8. .110, though, is going to be a ground ball to second, and that will end the inning. So Schroeder keeps the Jays off the scoreboard. We go to the bottom of the third. Still 3-0. And it'll be Jim Pashorik's his first at bat since coming in for the injured Molitor. So Pashorik on the replay hitting 224, a homer 11 driven in. He at 228 real world. 1-7 against the lefty. That's a base hit. Base hit Pashorik. So Jimmy Key definitely not on his game. Here's Cecil Cooper. .38 for Cooper, and that's a single 1-17. That is a 17 base hit. So runners at first and second, nobody out for Rob Deere. .36 for Deere, struck him out. First strikeout for Jimmy Key. That'll bring up B.J. Surhoff, flew to left field his first time up. 3-7, and that's a single to center. Pashorek doesn't run all that well, though. Mosley's got a 0 arm. Pashorek runs at a 12. Let's change this to a 12. He wasn't being held, makes him a 13. 1-13, he could score him. Cooper would have to hold at second base. 1-13, or you leave the bases loaded. I think you leave the bases loaded here. This is going to play station to station. I guess probably the more prudent way to go. And now Schroeder will come up with the bases loaded and only one out. Blue Jay infield looking for the double play. Five, 6, they get a strikeout, which is almost as good. Key gets the strikeout, big strikeout there. Now there's 2 away. Clutch situation for Jim Gantner. Gantner doubled his last time up. We've already seen his only clutch effect is a 110 where he loses a hit. Key trying to pitch out of trouble. 2-11. Ballpark single check. 1-12. That's a 16. He does it. So that's going to be a line out to second base, and they leave him loaded. So Key pitches out of the mess. Keeps the score at 3-0 after 3. And quite frankly, probably keeps Jimmy Key in the game. All right, top of the fourth we go. Rather, George Bell steps to the plate against Wegman. 2-10, and that's a single 1-5. 13 though is a liner right to Swain, and there's one away. For Ernie Witt, catcher. 110 for Witt. That's a ballpark blast. 1-7, but that's an 18. Just a deep fly to right. So Blue Jays aren't getting those D20 rolls they need. 2 down quickly for Fred McGriff. 4-8, and that's going to be a base hit for McGriff. That's going to be a 1, so that's a double on a 1-3. So McGriff, a 2-out double for Fred McGriff. Brings up Rick Leach in a clutch situation. And Leach gets 1 hit, actually gains 2 hits in the clutch, one on a 112 and one on a 3-7. 5-5, and that's going to be a fly to left field, hauled in by Felder, and the double goes for naught. Go to the bottom of the fourth. Still 3-0 Brew Crew. And leading things off will be the dangerous Dale Swain. He reached on a big 2-base error by George Bell. First time up. Five, 9, and that's a fly to right field. And that'll be handled by Leach. One away. Back to the top of the order for Felder. He is 1 for 2 with a single. He was caught stealing. 6-4, and that is a home run chance. 1-8. That's a 17, so he flies it to left field. He would have had a single. He did not have power, so that would have been a single instead of a home run, but it didn't even fall in that category. It fell in the 9-20, which means it's just a fly ball to left field. So a 2-out. 2 outs now, nobody on for Robin Yount. 0 for 2 for Yount. 6-9, and that's a base on balls. Jimmy Key giving up his second walk already, which is very uncharacteristic of him. Yount, chance to get a lead. See if he can do it. Needs a 5 or a 6. Doesn't get it. He'll hold. Here is Pashorek. Singled his only time up. 5-8. This time he struck him out. Third strikeout for Key to end the inning. And we go to the fifth. Still 3-0 Brew Crew from Milwaukee. Again, tomorrow we'll be in Texas. Twins and the Rangers. Frank Viola against Bobby Witt. Here's Garth Orge. 5-4 for Orge. That's a fly ball center field X. We're looking at Center fielder Yount, 2E6. 2-1. That's going to drop for a base hit, maybe a double. 2-1 is going to be a double. And 9, make sure there's no error there. E6. And there is no 9 there, but it's going to be a leadoff double for Garth Orge. Now the Blue Jays get a break on the D20. Double die goes their favor. Leadoff double. Manny Lee. 2-6 for Lee, and he's going to pop it up to first. Schroeder is there, 1 away. For Willie Upshaw. Upshaw 1 for 2. 6-5, and that's another pop up to Schroeder. And now it's a clutch situation for Lloyd Mosby, and in the clutch, Mosby loses a hit on 3-9, and that appears to be his only factor. 1, but Wegman has a 0 pass ball rating. Wild pitch rating, so he can't have a wild pitch. 1-6, that's a strikeout, and that will end the inning. That is the 3rd strikeout for Wegman, 2nd time he's gotten Mosby. So Blue Jays again go down in order after the double. They don't go down in order, but they go down pretty quickly. Leave a runner on base. We go to the bottom of the 5th. Still 3-0, and Jimmy Key not happy about the lack of fielding and run support that he's not getting. But that happens. That happens to all pitchers. He's probably benefited from run support throughout the year. And these things have a way of evening out. All right, here's Cecil Cooper. 2-6 for Cooper. He grounds it to second. Garth Orge is there. 1 away. And here is Rob Deere. 3-6 for Deere, and that's a strikeout. Strikeout number 4 for Jimmy Key. So Jimmy Key seems to have found his footing, but if his team doesn't score him some runs, it's going to be too little too late. Here's Surhoff. 4-6. That's another strikeout. Strikeout number 5. So we've completed 5 here at Milwaukee, and it's still 3-0. All 3 runs in the 2nd inning. And they have stood up. Wegman back out, and he'll be facing Mullenix, Bell, and Witt, scheduled hitters. Of course, the Blue Jays do have Jesse Barfield and Tony Fernandez on the bench available as pinch hitters, but that can't happen until at least the 7th inning. 1-3, and that's a ballpark single check, 1-12, base hit Mullenix. Leadoff single for Mullenix. He has no threat to run. He'll hold. And George Bell, one swing of the bat could get them right back in this game. That's a 5-9, and that's a pop-up to second. Gantner puts it away, 1 away. Big out there to get. And here's Ernie Witt. He's 0 for 2. 5-8, and that's a pop-up again to Schroeder. 2 down, clutch. That's not a clutch situation for McGriff because the runner's still at first. So here's McGriff. 5-4, and that is a fly ball center field X. So again, we're looking at Yount. He's a 2E6. 2-2, that's probably going to drop. 2-2 is going to drop for a base hit, 2 stars. That's a 10, so I don't think he has any issues there. Nope. But it's a single 2 stars, and that's going to put runners on the corners. Once again, for the Blue Jays, they have runners in scoring position. They have to cash in. Rick Leach in the clutch, stepping to the plate. And again, in the clutch, Leach will gain a couple of hits, 3-7 and 3-9, and 112. So he gains 3 hits in the clutch. 1-8 is going to be a regular single to center field, and they finally get on the scoreboard. McGriff will stop at second, but scoring is Mullenix. Blue Jays are finally on the board. It's 3-1. 2-out RBI single by Rick Leach. And that brings up Garth Orge. Clutch situation for Orge. He loses a hit on 112, and that's the only factor he has. Oh, we got hopping dice. We're going to re-roll that. 3-7, and that's a strikeout for Wegman. That is his fourth. But the Blue Jays give the scoreboard company and close the gap to 3-1. Jimmy Key back out. Key has retired 8 of the last 9 he has faced. Just the walk to Yount was the only base runner. Here's Schroeder. He has singled and struck out. 5-11. That is a ballpark single check, but that's a 19. So he will line it to short for Manny Lee. One away, and that brings up Jimmy Gantner. 5-11, and that's another ballpark single check. This one works. Single for Gantner. See if he wants to try for the lead. Needs a 7. And he gets it. He will go for the lead. He will take the lead. He will try to steal. 17 being held to 15, -5 to 10. 1-10 chance for Gantner. And he's in there. Stolen base for Gantner. You won't see that kind of swashbuckling stolen base bravado on that other channel, that's for sure. So Gantner with the stolen base. Oops. Let me undo this last play here. Sure, I put Gantner on with a base hit, then steal the base. So Gantner on the season. Don't think of him much as a stolen base guy, but on the real season, he stole 6 bases, got caught twice. Here on the replay, that's stolen base number 2. He's been caught twice, so gets him his second stolen base of the season. So Gantner is at second base with 1 out for Dale Swain. .38 for Swain is a strikeout for Jimmy Key, his 6th. Flips the order over to Felder in the clutch situation. And Felder gains a hit on 3-10. That's it. And he gets a 3-10. How about that? His only clutch. How many times has this happened? His only clutch result on his card against lefties is a 3-10. And what does he roll but a 3-10? Unbelievable. Clutch base hit, 3-10. Now I just got to double check. I think it's a 2-star single, but let me double check it. Let's make sure. Yeah, it's a 2-star single. So that'll score the run. You figure it had to be a 2-star single because if you get the hit, if a guy's in scoring position, you get a hit and he doesn't score, how clutch is that? So it kind of makes sense. It's a 2-star single. So it's 4-1 Brewers. Now Felder's going to try for the steal again, or try for the lead, 6 through 8. And he gets the lead. He's going to go. 19 being held 17, 12. 1-12. And he's in there with stolen base. So the Brew Crew not paying attention to that -5 hold. They're not letting that deter them from doing thievery. And Felder, although he's caught on his first stolen base attempt, he makes up for it by making it this time. That's his 6th stolen base of the replay. He had 34 of them real world. He's only been caught once, and that was in the game earlier. So stolen base for Mike Felder gets him into scoring position, turns this hit into a clutch at bat for Robin Yount, and the clutch Yount is completely neutral. 1-4, and that's a fly to center, and that will end the inning. But the Brewers get the run back that they gave up, and at the end of 6, it's 4-1 Milwaukee. We go to the top of the 7th. This will be the fatigue inning for both pitchers. And Manny Lee, your batter. 1-7. Struck him out. Strikeout number 5 for Wegman. Here's Upshaw. 4-6, and that's going to be a fly ball to right field. Rob Deere there, 2 down. And that'll send up Lloyd Mosby. 4-7, and that's going to be a ground ball shortstop X. Looking at Swain, 3E25. 3-19 is good all day long. E25 and a 6. E25, there's a 4, 13, 17, and 18, but no 6. So Swain is able to make the play. 1, 2, 3 inning, the top of the 7th goes the Jays. So we go to the 7th inning stretch with the score still 4-1. This will also be the fatigue inning for Jimmy Key. Keep an eye on that. He'll be facing Pashoric, Cooper, and Deere. 6-8, and that's a strikeout. There's a dot there, but he is not tired yet. So that strikeout will still stand. Strikeout still stands. And for Jimmy Key, that is strikeout number 7. And that'll bring up Cecil Cooper. .211 for Cooper. That's a ballpark single check, 1-12. That's a 10. Cooper gets a base hit, courtesy of County Stadium. He's, of course, no threat to run. Here's Rob Deere. Deere 0 for 3 with a couple of Ks. 1-7, make him a 3rd K. Got the hat trick. Strikeout number 8 for Jimmy Key. And that'll take us to B.J. Surhoff. .310 for Surhoff as a ground ball back to Jimmy Key to end the inning. So we go to the top of the 8th. And that might be it for Jimmy Key. Have to wait and see. Here's Wegman. He's rolling along with a 4-1 lead. It'll be Mullenix, Bell, and Witt due up. 1-3, and that's a ballpark single check from Mullenix. 1-12, but that's a 17. So he will line at second base. For Gantner, 1 away. Here's George Bell. He's been quiet. He's 0 for 3. 4-8, and finally he wakes up. 1-2 is a double. 3-20 is a single. So at least it's something. It's a leadoff single for George Bell. Brings up Ernie Witt. Bell not being held at first. 4-6. And that's going to be a fly ball to right field. Rob Deere is there, 2 down. For the crime dog, Fred McGriff. .17 for McGriff, and that is a strikeout to end the inning. 6 strikeout for Wegman. He's going for the complete game, most likely. He still has endurance remaining. And you know what? They're going to go ahead and let Key finish as well. Maybe we'll go for a double complete game here. Why not? Both teams had off yesterday, so this could really give their bullpen 2 days of solid rest. Here's Bill Schroeder. 5-7, and that's a ground ball second base X. That's Garth Orge. He's a 4E13. 4 and a 6 is probably going to get through. And it does. Base hit. That's a 13. And Orge is an E13. 13 and 13. No error there. 14 on error, but not a 13. But it's a base hit for Schroeder nonetheless. So Schroeder is aboard. Leadoff single. Brings up Jimmy Gantner. Can't blame that one on Key. That was just shoddy fielding. He's been dealing with that the whole game, though. 4-7, and that is a ground ball second base X. They're going to give Orge another chance. 4E13. 4-19. He comes back with a much better result because a 4-19 is a possible double play. That's an 8, and he is an E13 at second base, and there is no 8, so that is a Giovanni's Tailor Shop, tailor-made 4-6-3 double play. Giovanni's Tailor Shop in Lemoyne, Pennsylvania. Be sure to check them out. Tell them Demo sent you. They'll give you a discount. They are the unofficial sponsor of the channel, but the official sponsor of the Giovanni's Tailor Shop, tailor-made double play of the game. So 2 quick outs, and here's Dale Swain. 5-7, switch hitter, and they're going to give Orge a third chance. Ground ball second base X once again. Orge gets another go at it. 4-11, he should get to that. 4-11, he does. That's an 11, and he's an E13. So there's no 11 there, so Orge makes the play 2 out of 3 times. And as Meatloaf said, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. So that's going to end the inning. We go to the 9th. It's 4-1. Last chance coming up for Toronto. They will have scheduled Leach, Orge, and Lee, but we will see some pinch hitters coming up. So let's look at the bench of the Blue Jays and see who they've got available. They have Tony Fernandez and Jesse Barfield. They also have Charlie Moore, Kelly Gruber, and Cecil Fielder. So a lot of good arms, or bats, I should say, that they could turn to. Now, Rick Leach himself is not bad. He's 282 hitter and a left-hander, so they'll keep him. But Orge is going to have to go, most likely, and will leave. They'll both go. Orge and Lee will both be pinch hit for. So it'll be Leach leading off. And then we'll have Fernandez followed by Barfield. And if it goes to the bottom of the 9th, Fernandez would stay in to play short, and Kelly Gruber would go in to play second if they get that far. But right now they're trying just to get that far. So Leach, Fernandez, and Barfield are going to be your scheduled hitters for this 9th inning. So Fernandez there and Barfield there. Blue Jays doing what they can to try to get back into this. Dan Plesac loosening the Milwaukee bullpen just in case. But Wegman's been looking pretty good. We're going to see if they can ride with him. 4-4. That's a ground ball third base X. We're looking at Pashork. He's a 4E37. 4-5. That's probably going to get through. And it does. Base hit 37, and that's a 7. E37. There's no 7 there, but it is going to be a base hit for Rick Leach. That'll bring up the first pinch hitter, Tony Fernandez. He will hit for Garth Orge. Fernandez on the replay is hitting 340. 3 homers, 26 driven in. He at 322 real world. It's a 5-4. Switch hitter batting left. That's a fly ball center field X. We're looking at Yount. He's a 2E6. 2-5. That's going to be iffy, but I think he gets to it. 2-5. He does get to it. That's a 9. And he's an E6. There is no 9 there, so Yount makes the play. Fernandez is out. And now the next pinch hitter is Jesse Barfield. So we go to Barfield to hit for Lee. And Barfield on the replay leads the league in home runs with 28. He's hitting 325, 28 homers, 71 driven in. He at 263 real world. One 6 for Barfield, struck him out. Strikeout number 7 for Wegman. And now it's down to Willie Upshaw. Last chance for the Jays. Willie Upshaw. Wegman trying to finish what he started. 6-6, left-handed. That's a fly to center. That'll do it. Brewers knock off their closest competitor, Toronto, by the score of 4-1. Wegman wins it. He goes to 9-1. Jimmy Key will be the losing pitcher. We'll get his numbers in a second. As we go to the box score, finish this game up and get you ready for Friday. And get me some rest. 4 runs, 10 hits, and no errors for the Brewers. 1 run, 10 hits, and 2 errors for the Jays. Jays left on 9, Brewers left on 8. 9-1 for Wegman. And the loser is Jimmy Key. He drops to 14-2. He was 14-1, now he's 14-2. Jimmy Key's going to go 8 innings, give up 10 hits, 4 runs, only 2 of which were earned. 2 walks, 8 strikeouts. So his ERA is now ballooned to 1.69 on the replay. With the complete game victory for Wegman, he scattered 10 hits, gave up 1 run, which was earned. Walked nobody, struck out 7, and his ERA drops to 2.99. So double complete games right there. Brewers now are 3 games in front of Toronto as they win against their closest competitor. Player of the game, we'll give it to Bill Wegman. He pitched a complete game and held the Blue Jay lineup to 1 run. So I think without a doubt, Bill Wegman is your player of the game. Don't see anybody else that stands out enough to be the player of the game. Gantner did pretty well, 2 for 3, 2 runs scored, but I think we give it to Wegman. I think he is the optimal person to go to for that. So, with that victory for Milwaukee, they increased their lead in the American League East. They lead Toronto by 3, the Yankees by 8, Detroit by 9.5. Everybody else, Boston, Baltimore, Cleveland, 20 games back or more. In the West, Oakland leads California by 7, Minnesota by 9, and Kansas City by 9. Seattle by 10, Chicago by 10, and Texas by 12.5. So we got Minnesota playing Texas tomorrow, and Minnesota needs to win to pull to within 8.5 games and stay in 3rd place. If they lose, then they potentially can get out of 3rd place, depending on what Kansas City does with Seattle. So tomorrow it's going to be Minnesota at Texas, Frank Viola against Bobby Witt. So somehow I made it through. I only took 2 sips of coffee, but I'll heat this coffee up and savor it later when I'm downstairs in bed resting. Well, that's going to do it from here. Appreciate everybody who came by during the live stream to watch it live, and of course also always appreciate the many more folks who watch it after the fact. But that's going to do it from here. Hope you have a wonderful Thursday, everybody, and until next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play. However you choose to play it, I will see you all down the road.